WIZ 4048, steamer Judy Belle swaying northbound below the Spring Valley Bridge, checking for southbound traffic between Spring Valley and Peru.
I'm Katie. I'm Katie Hartford Hogue, and I kind of fell into this whole project by accident when going through Dad's things after he passed away and finding all the fiddle journals that he left. And
how many?
He loved the fiddle. He would write a fiddle tune about every occasion.
Well, the numbers went up to 68, and they're all full.
There's just books and books full of tunes that he wrote that have never been heard.
He wrote one called Douglas and Ginger. Made me feel so good. I can't play it, but hey.
When I get to talk about John Hartford falling in love with the fiddle and spending the last 20 years of his life obsessed with fiddling, fiddle tunes, fiddle players, the history of fiddle, how it works, whatever, I'm just like, well, of course. Obviously. There's 176 tunes in the book. We've only recorded 17 of them, so let's move it.
John Hartford. He's actually a huge influence on me.
The energy that comes from the people that knew him is sort of like a reverence, a befuddlement, a deep love.
Well, I just think of him as somebody whose brain never stopped and who was plugged into something like much wider than the rest of us.
He never quit writing music, ever. I used to say it just leaks out his fingers.
People just were mesmerized by him on stage. He was a one-man show.
But I see him up there playing the fiddle and dancing at the same time. I was like, how in the world is he doing all that at the same time?
He put on the area playing record, and it sounds like it could have been made last week. And it's truly remarkable when something can be 50 years old and still as present and relevant today as it was at the time that it was made.
For generations to come, people are still going to be talking about him and what he left behind.
He's keeping us all busy.
Yes, absolutely.
John Hartford has influenced every generation. I feel like he's still influencing music in a huge way, maybe even more so today.
Young people who were not even thought of at the time he passed away are listening to his music now and saying, where's he been?
The first time I remember hearing John's music, I guess I would have been 5 or 6. That's some of my earliest music memory that felt impactful.
His fiddle playing was like my first entrance to it. Matt Glazer was like, you have to get Wild Hog in the Red Brush, learn every tune, and I did, and I'm so glad.
Yeah, I grew up listening to John Hartford albums, even though I never got to meet him or see him in person.
I was just hooked. I listened to everything I could get my hands on.
Some of his tenets of art have just been very meaningful to me, particularly the idea of style is based on limitation.
When I found his music, it really helped me understand how one could make art that was really important and profound outside of the goal of perfection.
He never did anything where he tried to sound like anybody else. He obviously wanted to learn from the masters. You know, it's like, well, Ed Haley does this bowing pattern, and Texas Shorty would put a triplet right here, and et cetera, et cetera. But his fiddle playing still always sounded true to him. We have a whole bunch of musicians who are never trying to be anything other than who they are. Being around these musicians who are just expressing themselves very genuinely is really cool, you know, and I think that that is a part of the Hartford legacy. Katie, what is this new album actually called?
The new album is called Julia Belle. It's the John Hartford Fiddle Tune Project Volume 2.
We're pretty proud to be on a project that's featuring the most amazingly talented women. I don't know, that makes me kind of tear up a little. Because back in that day when I was seeing John Hartford, that there wasn't this opportunity for women, you know?
The women on the project are young, old, in between, from all walks of life, all areas of the country, and I think we even have a couple Canadians.
I mean, And yes, we want to further his legacy for sure, but we want to give this to the community.
Yeah.
And, you know, the point of doing all of these tunes is kind of the vision is to see these tunes go out and become part of the canon.
So it's been so cool to work with different musicians and also see other musicians who don't usually play together come together and
yes,
make the magic happen. The whole effort is aimed at bringing these tunes to life and letting these tunes speak.
That's great.
It has been unbelievably inspiring and again, like so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
The recording sessions are a little bit weirdly fun.
Yes!
John was so into music. I mean, whatever you wanted to play, how bad you were, it did not matter. And we'd just jam, you know, with anybody who wanted to jam. And that was part of his gift to the world, was his ability to sit down with somebody and show them something. And he was good at that.
One of his things he was adamant about is people coming over and basically the latch being undone on the front door. You know, we're not shutting people out, we're bringing people in, we're welcoming people.
Play a fiddle tune of his, and people talk about his music so joyfully, and they want to tell me about when they got to see him.
It never fails that someone will come up after the show with a story, and it's like this instant connection. It's like even though he's gone, he's still creating community and connection through his music, and everyone feels as personal about it as I did and I do.
To me, that's what this project speaks to, is that his family and his community loved his music and care enough to keep it alive and keep playing it.
I just love, Katie, that you are so committed to your dad and his legacy as a musician, but also just your love for your dad, that you want to give life to these tunes.
For now my dreams divide into for you, the wind of love. I hope that people recognize what an incredible talent she is, because she won't talk about it herself, what she's done, but nobody else could have done what she's done.
It's an honor to get to be around just the music and all of that. And to me, having you all and having artists do his music, it's like bringing him back. He just put so much of himself into the music, and so when the music comes back, you hear him, no matter who's playing it, you hear him come through it. It's so strong. And so it just means a lot to us for y'all to do this. So thank you.
Thank you. Our honor.
It's never going to be gone.
We still got a lot of stuff, a lot of projects, and yeah, let's see, we've recorded 17, and then I think another 8, and so we only have about 4,700, and how many left to go?
Right, well, we better get busy.